Meeting. Today is November 28th, 2022. And I want to welcome you all. My name is Debbie Quaid, and I chair the committee along with my co-chair, Oscar Lorente. So we hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend. Looking forward to the Christmas and holiday season coming up. I'm going to read to you our mission statement of the Senior Affairs Committee. We are to be advocates for the betterment of our seniors by promoting the physical, emotional, and social well-being of adults aged 55 years and older, living in our diverse community of Miami Beach. So we welcome you all today, and we have a very exciting topic this morning from our Miami Beach Police Department. Sergeant Paul Guesto is going to be joining us from the Criminal Investigation Division. I'd like to do a roll call. We have an open seat at Blackstone Apartments. Council Towers South, Natasha, are you with us this morning?
No.
Council Towers North, we also have a vacancy
Hablas inglés.
available.
Can you understand what I'm saying?
Federation Towers, Magui.
Yes, I'm
morning.
here. Good morning. Happy holidays.
For Freedom's House in Ilda.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Rebecca Towers, Anna will not be joining us this morning. Stella Maris, we've got Gabby.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Unidad of Miami Beach, Larissa will also not be joining us this morning, but we send a hello to her. Carolina. At
Good
large.
Morning.
Hi, how are
Morning.
you?
Good.
Hi.
Our Hispanic Affairs Committee Chair, Gabriel Paz. We also have a vacancy at Jewish Community Centers. And from Mount Sinai Medical Center, Oscar Lorente. He will not be joining us this morning. I hope you're all having a wonderful holiday weekend. Our next order of business is to approve the minutes. You've already seen, all of you have seen the minutes. Have you had a chance to read them?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the minutes from October 2022.
Yes. I approve.
Magui, do I have a second?
Yes,
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Unanimous approval, October 2022 minutes.
Mhm.
And now I'd like to introduce you to Sergeant Paul Guesto. Sergeant, thank you for giving your time to us this morning, and I'm sure you have some amazing information for us to pay attention to. Welcome to the Senior Affairs Committee.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? Just want to check before.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Good. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving with their family, and we're back here Monday morning. So I'm going to present today kind of like a broad range of information, all very important, especially in today's age of technology and just the way fraud has grown and developed over years. So I created this presentation. It's meant to be, very informative to generate
Progress.
Enilda, if you could mute yourself, Enilda.
this is Natasha. She cannot enter. Okay.
There you go.
Recording in progress.
She's done.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
All right, no problem. No problem. So where I left off was this presentation it's rather informative. I developed this because there is a lot of information to discuss. We're just going to talk about some of the most common fraud scams. As I just previously mentioned, it's going to be very informative, a lot of information, just generic descriptions. I'll include some of my personal information and what we see primarily within our community. But more importantly, the most important thing here is just to, promote awareness. So I think everyone is going to definitely leave this meeting with some newfound information and ways to protect themselves. So, moving right along. So the most common fraud scams in current times right now are, I'm going to go just right down the list that I developed here from what I've seen, are advanced fee scams, charity scams, dating and romance scams, debt relief scams, a grandparent relative scam, IRS scams, job scams, jury duty scams, phantom debt scams, phishing scams, which we'll talk about that a little bit more, social security imposter scams, tech support scams, government grant scams, and then specifically, I know it was spoken about, but I did include open enrollment scams.
Mhm.
So moving right along here, so we can't really speak about this topic without knowing the facts. So the pure facts are, and this was taken straight from fraud.org. So the 2021 scam data. So last year, the overall top 10 scams were the following: a prize like lottery type sweepstakes scam, the number one. The second is internet scams just involving general merchandise. So that would be your typical, credit card fraud, you're obtaining goods. And the third is phishing. Fourth is fake check scams. Fifth is like a romance type scam. Sixth, which is growing in popularity, is investment scams involving cryptocurrency. The seventh is advanced fee loans. Eighth is a family friend imposter. Ninth is just general computer, internet equipment, software scams. And the 10th is scholarships and grants. So those are the overall top 10 scams for last year. So moving along, advanced fee scams. An advanced fee scam occurs when the victim pays money to someone in anticipation of receiving something of greater value, such as a loan, contract, investment, or gift, and then receives little or nothing in return. So these scams are just only limited to the imagination of the fraudster, unfortunately. They may involve the sale of products or services or investments, or something as simple as a lottery winning. And you'll see that there's a lot of commonality, a lot of these type of scams. And I'll hit upon this numerous times throughout my discussion here, but they all contain essentially the same things. Is they create an urgency in you, and they want something upfront out of you, whether it's your personal information, money. So those, if we keep this extremely basic, it's those two things. One is generally usually a cold. They create the urgency, and that can be delivered in many different formats. And then second, they want something from you. It could be like personal information or money. So moving right along, and I feel it's important to these that way when it God forbid it does happen to you, or a family member or a friend, you can recognize them. So with a charity scam, scammers are using the same methods as legitimate charity, as horrible as that sounds, to solicit funds. They will use the phone, face-to-face contact, email, or the internet, and mobile devices to solicit, obtain donations. So the red flags for anyone that's soliciting funds on behalf of charity is, they generally refuse to provide detailed information about the identity of the charity, the mission, the cost used. They won't provide that distribution is tax deductible. They'll use a name that closely resembles a well-known, established, legitimate organization. That's something very important. They'll thank you for a pledge. So they'll start out their conversation with a thank you for a pledge do not remember making, just to break the talking and with the hopes of you disclose more information. They'll use high pressure tactics, again, creating the urgency for you to donate immediately without giving you much time to think or do your research. They ask for donations in cash, to wire money, or in gift cards. Those are all red flags. All red flags if you haven't done your homework and you're able to validate the caller or the organ. They also may even be as aggressive as sending a courier to you or have you overnight delivery service the donation. And then lastly, they can guarantee your sweepstakes winning change for a contribution. So they'll offer you something as a prize to make the contribution. But by that time, it might be too late. Dating scams. These are growing. I don't know if anyone has seen the Netflix series Tinder Swindler. It's along these lines. We do get these cases in Miami Beach. They are complicated in nature, specifically because there's a lot of emotion involved, and typically a lot of money has been spent over the course of the dating scam. But with the rise in popularity of dating sites, social networking sites, and chat rooms, people meet each other from all walks of life. Scammers also use these sites to prey on their victims. They'll create fake profiles and they'll build an online relationship with you, and they'll eventually convince you to send money, just pretty much in the name of love. Mask that with various different schemes, but that's generally how an online love interest at any point that asks for money is definitely a red flag, especially early on when you meet the person. So other red flags to discuss. They want to leave the dating, start using personal email or a personal chat. They obviously profess their love to you very early on, very quickly. That's generally a red flag. Claim to be the U.S. They claim to be from the U.S., but they're always traveling to another location. So with a lot of these dating scams and a lot of these scams in general, believe it or not, they're from individuals. The perpetrators are from out of country. That's a red flag. They always have an excuse to come meet you or do anything to help you validate the current situation. Moving along to debt relief, credit repair scams, just something to be very mindful of. Debt may contact you, debt relief or debt adjusting. They claim to be a credit repair company. They'll want information from you. They have your information, and that will assist them in coming across legitimate. Victim who use these numbers to apply for credit, with the EINs and the CPNs. Just with this, do not give any personal information out. It's very important to maintain your information. And another scam here that here in Miami Beach reported to us, which are pretty elaborate. It's a grandparent relative scam, and it simply unfolds in this manner where a person or other relatives pretending to be a grandchild, niece, nephew, other family member, and they need money right away. The scammer usually asks the person contacted to keep it a secret. The scammer is persistent and insinuates that they need this money quickly. They may claim that they lost their passport or they can't fly back home, and they may say they need. Generally, we've seen these scammers. They'll have obtained your very most basic personal information, and then they'll call you from a number, claim to be a family member of yours, and that they'll create a story that they're in dire money or assistance, and then you'll end up sending the person money under under the ruse of their family member in need. IRS scams, I think especially now towards the holidays, we can all turn our texts, our emails. We do have fraudulent like spam contacts or texts or emails. All those things are occurring, and really any entity, any person is really open to be a target per se. So an IRS scam is a phone scam that's targeting taxpayers. Callers will call you, usually from a spoofed phone number. So generally, there are applications that can mask your actual phone number. So I can get an application, use my phone to call you. However, the number that will appear in your phone will be any number that I want, any number that I choose. So with the availability of that technology in those applications, these scams are very easy to commit. So IRS scam, they'll use a fake name, a number, and a bogus IRS identification badge number, and they may actually have information about you or your name or information, and they're told essentially that they're owed money to the IRS and it must be paid promptly. That's how that happens, and generally they'll want a wire transfer or a gift card, and then they may get aggressive if you don't respond in a manner in which is pleasing to them. So going back to the beginning of the presentation, the two most basic things is they'll create an urgency out of you, one, and then two, want something from you, and this is no different. We can see those two elements in every single type of these scams. Job scams. This is for people who are using job services to help them locate a job. The scammers will trick people looking for honest work. They'll advertise where real employers and placement firms do. They also make upbeat promises about your chances of employment. They will ask you for a fee for certification or money up front to find you a job or training materials. So, these get very, very, very complicated and tricky. So, moving into a topic that I mentioned earlier, which I think it's important to discuss this because this is very common currently. So, there's two terms, smishing and phishing. So smishing is the sending of a text message to cell phones to solicit personal information. So oftentimes, even my own personal phone, I'll receive a text from perhaps, let's just say Amazon. It'll say, or FedEx, and it'll say something and it'll have a link. That's smishing. That's essentially phishing, which generally occurs over the phone. That's happening via text. So so phishing is when a scammer uses fraudulent emails or texts or copycat websites to get you to share valuable personal information. That's essentially all it is. It can occur in a text or an email, or it can happen on the websites that you browse. If you're on a unsecure a website. So again, just to reiterate and make it clear, phishing is when a scam uses fraudulent text or copycat websites to get you to share valuable information. So that is very common. It happens quite often, and there are organizations who do, they do have security measures in place, and they train employees on not like, and we do this in the city. We have security awareness. What looks like an email from my company, what doesn't look like an email from my company. So, those are all very important things to pay attention to, and based on your employer to really invest in that type of security and that type of training and education for employees. But in its most common form, we see this, our spam emails or our phone calls that we get, that it's it's someone selling something. Generally, it's a scammer. It's a scamming scheme, scamming operation. Any link you don't understand or know what it's to, you're better off not clicking it. I only have a few more slides. These are equally as important. So, Social Security and citizens are receiving phone calls, individuals posing as Inspector General, investigators, indicating issues exist pertaining to your Social Security account or Social Security number. These are just fast ways to get your personal information. Generally, not cold contact. So that's a red flag right there. Second, it's there should be a level of consideration given to give your personal information over the phone without validating who you're speaking to. It's easier said than done in some instances, because in some regard, I mean, you may actually be contacted by, let's just use an example, contacted by P&O, perhaps, and you're talking to a legitimate technician, but you still want to go through all your checks, you're validating speaking to. So there are also tech support scams. Some scams call and claim to be computer tech, associated with well-known companies like Microsoft and Apple. They'll send you pop-up messages, and that'll just get you to start clicking on numerous different pop-ups, spam email. So the text you'll see in your emails. So that's hand in hand with what I was discussing about not clicking certain things unless you know where to lead. So government grant scams. Sometimes it's an ad that claims you qualify for a free grant to pay for education costs, home repair, business expenses. Other times it's a call from someone claiming or government agency. So in this case, they advertise inviting you to call a toll-free number for more information. And again, these people call you out of the blue, and they lie about where they're calling from, and they'll congratulate you on your eligibility for a grant, and then ask for your checking account information so they can deposit that money into your account. So again, the modality and the way these scams are occurring are essentially very similar. It's just you kind of cut and paste the type, and then you apply it, and they all fit the same really game plan. So again, that's why I keep really harping on knowing some of the red flags, which will protect you. So open enrollment scams. We can talk about this because it is open enrollment times currently. So, and again, it's really scamming 101. Essentially, you'll receive a call from an individual pretending to be a representative of Medicare. And it's generally with a spoofed phone number. So it's with a number that's essentially hiding their, it's the bad guy is hiding his number through an application. And so the number appears legitimate on your end. And they offer a better plan, cheaper, but with all the same services, and they will want your personal information and your Medicare ID number. So the red flags and the tips regarding open enrollment scams, and you'll notice the commonality in the red flags and the tips, as in any other scams I discussed, is do not engage with someone making a cold contact call with you. In other words, if you haven't reached out and initiated a conversation or requested a callback, and you just happen to receive a number you happen to receive a phone call out of nowhere, that's generally something to be concerned about. Be wary of any free sign-up gifts or free health screens if you choose a plan or change your plan. Most likely, these entities are not going to provide you with a free gift for changing a plan or generating a plan. That's usually not how it works. Ignore any threats to take away your benefits or your service if you don't do what the caller is asking you to do. Again, that's not obviously professional behavior, and that's something to be concerned about. Never provide your personal information, Medicare ID number over the phone. That's common in all these scams. Is that's part two of what they want. Is they want your information. And the easier they can get it from you, the better. So we as consumers and as just citizens, as we go about our day-to-day business in the communities, we need to make, especially our personal information, and family information, banking account information, social security number, we need to protect that and make that extremely hard for someone to obtain, much less just freely give it to someone over the phone. Also, specifically with open enrollment scams, verify everything. 1-800-Medicare or Medicare.gov can be a good source. So as I'm coming to a close here, and again, I kind of glossed over a lot of these scams, but I think we covered quite a few, at least the more common ones. I included here when I was developing this presentation last week, I included scams to look out for as we end 2022 and into 2023. So I included two that were on the rise significantly. And the first is rental property scam. So this has been something that we've dealt with a lot here on Miami Beach, and I know the neighboring jurisdictions like the city of Miami and likely into Miami-Dade County as well have dealt with this, and we made numerous arrests of individuals who were perpetrating this type of crime. And what a rental property scam is, it's essentially the impersonation of a real estate agent who will offer an apartment or a house via an advertisement listing. And in most cases, in most real life cases, it's Facebook Marketplace. It's a lot of these different advertisement sites that we all know and love and use. But that's an area that we should probably use verified real estate searching mechanisms. In these cases, deposits are required upfront prior to meeting or seeing the location and prior to the future move-in date. And then what ends up happening is the scammer stops responding, or the victim arrives to a location that does not exist or it's already occupied. So that's something to look out for. That's on the rise. And also, and this could open up, and we can go down a very deep hole with this one, but something to look out for too is crypto ATM payments. And I included this because it's important that, and despite whatever demographic you're in, crypto is becoming very common. And so with crypto ATM payments, typically via any phone scam that we discussed here, the victim is directed to deposit cash that they're essentially being scammed out of into a crypto ATM, which translates into cryptocurrency and sent to a crypto wallet. And oftentimes it's untraceable. So we've had something as simple as a phone scam, and then they convince the victim to take the money that they're scamming this person out of and deposit it into a crypto ATM machine, which makes it extremely difficult for us to trace and track, which is a whole nother conversation. But generally, if anyone mentions to you anything about doing anything with cryptocurrency, stop, pause, ask someone who's familiar with crypto, verify, verify, verify. That's my direct advice for that. And if you don't want to deal with crypto, you don't have to deal with crypto. You shouldn't have to be forced into using one type of payment method, especially that being crypto, which not everybody is familiar with or educated on. Lastly, I developed this and I put every single resource that I could think of that we have available to us here. And so what are the ways to protect ourselves? And I'll list you a couple bullet points here. The first is you can obtain a free 90-day fraud alert with 3 credit bureaus, which is Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian. So free 90 days. If you become a victim of a fraud, you can negotiate the fraud alert to be much longer. But you can get a free 90-day fraud alert placed on your credit through the 3 credit bureaus. You can also reach out to the Do Not Call registry, which is donotcall.gov, and insert your phone number and eliminate some of the phone calls from telemarketers, which those numbers do really just get recycled around, and then they end up on a list, and then they end up in the wrong hands, and now you're on a scammer's phone call list that they try to call. So we can start there by removing your number from the Do Not Call registry. Ways to protect yourself also is to check your credit report once a year. You can do that through annualcreditreport.com. That's very important. Notice, review it and look for any irregularities on your credit. Another thing is consider getting a password manager. Nowadays we all have our phones. There's a password and a login for every single thing that we use. So oftentimes we tend to be lazy and we use the same password to log in to our multiple emails, bank accounts, etc. That is obviously not wise, not smart. There are very smart people, in the technology world, and some of them are scammers, and they do know how to obtain your passwords or hack into your information. So the advice here is you can look online. There are plenty of free applications that have what's called password managers, and those are applications that will generate passwords for you and manage them in a way where they are retrievable from you, but more importantly, that they're strong enough to protect your security. Here's one that we just recently learned, and it's through the property appraiser's office. It's called an owner alert notification service. Now, I know this for a fact that this is in place in Broward. I'm not sure about Dade specifically right now, but this is basically an alert system that will notify you if the ownership information on your home has changed. So I didn't discuss it particularly here, but there are squatter type situations where fraudsters will essentially remove you from the deed and place their name on the deed fraudulently. So that is an incredible tool through the property appraiser's office. I know for a fact it's on Broward. I've placed my name on the Broward service list, and they will contact me if any ownership, without my consent, any ownership information changes to my home. So that's a great tool. And lastly, always verify the source of request for your personal information or money. Always. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this presentation. I know I covered a lot in a condensed period of time. My information I will try to make available for any fraud related questions or any incidents that if anyone wants to talk about anything on the slides or any real life fraud incidents that they've had, well, we can discuss that issue and find a a course for you to better protect yourself. So I really do thank you for this opportunity to speak here and provide more awareness on a very, very evolving topic, which is fraud. So I wish you all a very happy day, happy holidays, and once again, I appreciate you for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a couple of questions, and if anybody else has questions, get ready to unmute yourself. My first question is, how do I properly pronounce your name? Your last name?
Guasto.
Guasto. Okay. Sergeant Paul Guasto. And you're with our Miami Beach criminal investigation. So if somebody's a victim of fraud, who do they call, or how do they reach the police department?
Right.
I mean, I
So-
know how they reach the police department, but what would they ask for?
Yes, so I'll give you basically an overview of really actually how the progress or the process occurs. So if once you have become made aware that you're a victim of fraud, you can go ahead and contact the police department. You can come to the police station. There's an intake officer, and for factual purposes, I'd say 75 to 80% of our fraud reports are walk-in reports, and that's just the way that you take. On one instance, you take a robbery that just occurred versus a fraud. Generally, you have more. There's no present danger per se, so you're perhaps noticing irregularities in your bank account, or you notice something, and then you say, hey, later on I can go by the station, I'll talk to an officer. So generally our fraud reports, they're delayed in knowing that they are a victim, one, and then two, they like to come in and speak to an officer face to face, which 24/7 we have someone available to take a report at the police station. Obviously you can always call and an officer will take your report also. So once that happens, the officer takes the report, they classify it via Florida statute, and the incident occurred type will be a fraud. And then it takes about more or less 24 hours, and then it's processed. And then it will appear in our unit. It'll appear for review in the fraud unit. And then from there, I look at it, I look at all the aspects of the case, and then I assign it to a detective.
Okay.
That's generally how that works. And then also, if someone is a victim and they report a fraud, they can contact our criminal investigation division, or just simply call the station and have them transfer you. And then you could speak to the secretary in the criminal investigation division, and then they'll reach out to any one of us in the fraud unit, and we can be of assistance.
Okay, thank you. One of the most common calls that I get is from the state troopers or the police department doing their annual fundraising. We all love to support our police. How do you verify that that's a valid call?
Well, it's actually it's a lot. It's not that easy, to be honest with you. You definitely have to validate directly with the source. So if it's a police entity, if it's a police officer, individually, I mean, it's you have to go directly to that source or that organization. So that's the reason why a lot of these scams are successful, is they put someone in a pinch per se, in a binding moment, or they're on the spot. They think they're talking to someone that they know, and they don't want to, I don't know if the correct word is be rude or be, in a position where they say, stop, essentially they say, stop, let's backtrack a little bit and start asking the questions, and generally when that does happen, when you have proactive people who do know the red flags, they start asking questions, generally very quickly, they'll see the shift in the behavior. And generally a lot of these people they'll abort one of these attempts if you are, engageful or challenging them. in certain ways. So generally, and I know I put a charity scam on here, and even the scammers won't stop at even impersonating law enforcement or another government entity. So that is a
So
good
you would
question.
ask them for a way to verify a phone
Absolutely.
number, any of that. Always ask someone for a way to verify their identity.
Or
And
you know,
it should not be through them.
correct. Or it can be something as, email me from your government email or call me from one of the police station phone numbers, something, some shred of validation is a starting point. And, don't be afraid. Anyone who you interact with is don't tell people, don't be afraid to question and validate and take the time. Even if, you don't have to make the decision right on the spot. But I notice in all of these cases, the person was making a heat of the moment kind of decision with all their money, their life savings, and or personal information. And if they had stopped, and again, I know that it's, not everybody has the same temperament, but it's something that if you take a moment, if you stop and think, and question, and get at least one piece of validation, a starting point, that will do you a world of good.
And it is amazing how they can imitate someone's name and phone number through text. I've heard a lot of people getting the text, I'm in the store, I can't get something, grab me a gift card and send me the numbers. And it literally will be exactly from someone's that name and phone number. So I've seen people kind of get caught up in that one. The grandparent one, my
Yep.
mother got that one. It's your favorite grandson. Well, she doesn't want to say which grandson is her favorite grandson. So she played along for a while until it came to the money part. So they are very convincing, and everybody needs to question, and just be on the lookout.
Yes, no, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's unfortunate when when we see victims, and the type of people that have been victimized. They definitely don't deserve that. And most people are, it's either the elderly community or hardworking people who they don't have much as it is, and then they think they're doing the right thing, and they end up victimized by a very elaborate scam, generally by people that most times they're not even in the state of Florida, and oftentimes they're not even in the country. So it poses numerous challenges, but that is our job, is to follow every single possible lead. And with technology, on one hand, technology is good because we have we benefit out of those luxuries with technology. But on the other hand, people use it for evil per se. But in the investigative world, it's also beneficial because with technology we can always attempt to trace it. We're not always successful, but we can attempt to trace it. There's always some sort of record behind, and that's what our job is. Whether it takes us a long period of time or a short period of time, that's what we do. And we're committed to doing that.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone? Well, I think you've covered it well. I'm really happy you got a minute to do open enrollment also. It's a
Sure.
time of year for that, and we are all going to be on the lookout. Charity is coming. Everyone's going to be calling you, so please be very, very careful. Thank you so much for your time.
No,
And
thank
we really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you on a more pleasant, happy time, is that we can all have good tidings. So happy
Absolutely.
holidays to you and your family.
You too. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Okay, guys, we're ready to move on. I think that was fascinating. And if any of you have never been a victim of fraud or have not had a friend, I can tell you it happens. It happens daily. And it's just so amazing how believable these people can be. So just be on the lookout. Next, we're going to discuss our November calendar of events. We have Flamingo Park, we have North Shore, and we have Scott Rayco.
I have not received the ones for December, Chair.
Okay.
Once I get those, I'll send them to the committee. I asked for them.
Okay.
But as you've noted before, they pretty much are the same each month with
Yeah.
very little variation.
I'm going to do a quick rundown for any information from our representatives. Council Towers South, Natasha, do you have anything?
And she joined us. Natasha, nos escucha. Natasha? She and I need to get together because she's been having issues with her Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Federation Towers, Magui, how's everything over there? Unmute yourself, please. Unmute, unmute.
Got it. Okay.
Everything good?
Yes, yeah. Everything, first of all, happy holidays, everyone. I hope your Thanksgiving Day was very good. And everything in Federation is, working well. And our classes still the same. Uh-oh.
I think Natasha's back.
Okay. Can I continue?
Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, our classes continue the same since Gloria Campos through our mayor. We have the flamenco classes, Zumba, art and everything. Also, JCS offer us classes every month of art and crafts by Donna. And we are very pleased to have that in our building. So many people from other, from Rebecca, from 1040 Collins, coming to our building to enjoy these classes. And also, and that is particularly happened to me last November 10. I parked in the parking lot close to Trader Joe on November 23rd. I received a letter from Professional Parking Management charging me $58.85 plus $4.99 to do the payment online. I agree. I park, was in a parking, in a private parking, but my concern is we can do something that you can see immediately that is a parking, is a private parking, and not to park over there because it's incredible. The charging is very expensive for everyone, not for me only. And that is my concern. We can do something, I don't know, maybe somebody has an idea to bring a big sign or something or an enter, I don't know, but
Maggie, this is the one row next door to Trader Joe's. The
exactly.
first row there is private
Exactly.
parking and the
Ex-
rest of it is, okay.
Mhm.
Maybe
That's it.
Louis, if somebody can, or maybe I'll drive by and take a look to see what kind of signage they do have. I know that the private parking next to 1111 Lincoln, they've been pretty good about putting their signs, private parking, so
Mhm.
we can kind of look into this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Four Freedoms House, Anilda. Unmute. Anilda, Four Freedoms, you need to unmute. Okay, while we're waiting for her to unmute, let's do Stella Maris. Gabby. Unmute.
Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to share please, the screen.
Yes.
I think you can, Gabby.
Let me see. Host disabled share screen, he said.
Aaron or somebody from, can you
Yeah.
allow her to
Yeah.
share her screen?
Give me a second.
Gabby Baglietto from Stella Mars.
Let me see.
Okay, good to go.
All right.
Gabby, try it then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Natasha, ya vamos a volver a usted.
Voy.
La voy a poner en mute por un segundo, ¿ok?
Will you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. This is Colleen Avenue. Let me to put it little bigger because it's no.
So Gabby, wasn't this the video you showed us last month where the
Yeah,
barricades
it's
need to
in
be moved?
the bus stop in Collins Avenue, where in this place, we request to release the cones from the bus stop because it is difficult for the buses. I have to put it again. Look at this. The cones start in the maybe 86. And then this is the bus stop. It's so difficult to stop the bus. Then there is no reason that justifies the presence of these cones at the bus stops. It will be enough for them to locate them after the bus stop, since the entrance of the area of the collapsed building is not on Collins. It's not in Collins. It's unnecessary to put too much cones 2 blocks before. I will show you something. See this one. Okay. Far away. There's no reason. I will show you the last one. This is the entrance of the building. It's not in Collins. We would like to find the solution to remove these cones in the bus stop, please.
Louis, what department would handle that?
So last month, the issue was with the bus getting in. And I think we kind of solved that, Gabby. It looks like is the bus getting in now?
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes not.
Yeah, it depends on the driver.
May uncomfort people.
So then that would be in conjunction with the county transportation department and our transportation department.
Right, either the entrance or, the park is in remodelation, the park. The entrance of
Right.
the bus, the cars who works there is in the 85, I think, so before this comes. And then what is the reason?
Okay, so if you could send me that, I'll ask that question to have it after
Yeah.
see what we can do.
Bus stop, please. It's necessary. Please, thank you.
Let's try to go back to Council Towers South. Natasha, do you have any update for us? Unmute yourself, please.
Hello, I am here.
Hola, Natasha.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
Bien,
Hello,
bien.
everyone. Sorry
How
for
is everything?
inconvenience. It's okay right now. Thanks to God.
No problem.
Maintenance work continue in Council Tower South. progress is observed. There was a fire in the outdoor area due to elite cigarettes. I had the opportunity to record with my cell phone and support the research, police, and fireworks. By the way, twist my car had butchery for nail material in the parking lots. Happy with the festive activity, the beautiful Lincoln Road, as well as cultural fair in the et cetera, Ocean Drive, music and more. So happy, thank you, I love it.
Great, thank you so much. Hispanic
welcome.
Affairs Committee Chair. Where is Gabrielle? I think I saw you here. No? Did he leave? Yes, unmute yourself, please.
Unmute yourself, Gabe. There you go.
Okay, hi, good
Hi.
morning. Thank you for allowing me. The Hispanic Affairs Committee will be meeting this for December on December 12th. At this time, we don't have any issues that address the Senior Affairs Committee. I would like to inform everybody that this is my last meeting attending this committee, as I have been termed out as chair of Hispanic Affairs. So starting January, you should have someone else coming to these meetings and representing the Hispanic Affairs Committee. For the past 3 years, I've chaired this committee and it's been a pleasure, but as all things come to an end, so must this. And I think I leave the committee in a very good shape. I've taught them the most that I could, and I've guided them as best as possible. So please feel comfortable with any of your needs or concerns to share with the Hispanic Affairs Committee so they can help you move on with these items. The last item that we did push for was the Stella Maris crosswalk, pedestrian crosswalk lights and stuff. We did push that forward. And you know, I guess the wheels are in progress for that. So anything you have, please make sure that you know that you feel comfortable with the next chair, and please share them the same love that you have shared with me these past years that I've been on this committee. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a disappointment. Ugh, I'm sure you're gonna go on to another committee. I do hope. You have been so instrumental in bringing the community together, sharing Hispanic affairs with everyone in our diverse community. And I'm very disappointed, but I will be seeing you somewhere.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. You know, I have to take a year off, but doesn't mean that I'll be, you know, on the sidelines. On December 14th, Commissioner Fernandez will be honoring me at the commission chambers. So I invite all of you to come out and share with that
December
special moment
14th.
with
What time?
at 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m. probably, yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's wonderful. So well deserved.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Carolina, do you have an update for us? Unmute.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. We are working on a big event for December. As soon as it is ready, I will send the flyer to Luis. Okay?
Okay.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I think that's everyone. Do we have any new
And
business?
Nilda. You
Oh,
forgot
Nilda.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. Okay,
I'm-
you didn't
I'm
unmute. All
sorry.
right, go ahead.
I'm sorry for everything today. Okay.
How is
Well,
everything? Any
Gabrielle,
updates?
we'll miss you. Okay.
No
everything-
updates? Everything's fine?
Everything is fine with.
Great,
the students.
Great.
Okay. All
Does
right.
anyone have any new business you'd like to bring up? Well, if you look at your agenda, here's the upcoming meeting dates. We are not going to have a meeting in December. We wish
Yeah.
everyone a happy holiday season. And we'll be back Monday, January 23rd. So mark your calendars, February 27th, March 27th. You have the whole year in front of you. Does anyone have a topic for January 2023's meeting? Is there anything you'd like to discuss?
Chair, I just remembered that by ordinance, I think we're required to have our first meeting, the selection of a new chair and vice chair, and also a briefing from the city attorney's office for all new members. You see, there's going to be some changes in December, sunshine law briefing. So that's what I'm gonna.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's great. All right, so everybody, January 23rd, be here on time and make sure that you've got this in your calendar. Louis, do you have a report for us?
really quickly, I continue working with Gabby on the pedestrian crosswalk and the bus stop. It looks like we made some progress on the bus stop, but we got the new request today to modify that entirely, basically, and move past the bus walk. I spoke to Natasha. Natasha, the fountains at South Point Park. I don't know if I sent that in when we talked, but I'll follow up with you. It looks like the South Point Park fountains have not been working. So thank you, Natasha, for looking at that and sending that to me. I got the December calendars, Chair. I don't know if I can share them on the screen right now. And just to put them up, I want to highlight that December 15th is the senior holiday party. So the way that you get information on that is by contacting Kevin Cobas. And here's the information for the holiday party.
And
And
you'll
that's
be
gonna-
emailing this to us, correct?
Exactly, right.
Thank you.
And then I attended this event last year. It's a wonderful event for everybody to attend if you're willing to come out on. There's going to be a tree lighting and everything. It's a family festival basically at North Shore Park. And then here's the calendar for Unidad. And then Scott Rakow. The senior holiday party is December 15th. And I will be sending these details as well. December 15th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the convention center.
Okay.
Wow, great holiday parties.
Mhm.
And then Winter
So,
Wonderland.
Now, wait a second. My question is, the senior holiday party, which I noticed on everybody's calendar was December 15th, is not held at the centers. This is going to be at the convention center?
Correct. It's in one of the big ballrooms. Everybody's fed. There's going to be entertainment probably.
Okay, and if you guys notice, space is limited, so do your RSVP.
You can go in person at Flamingo Park, Scott Rakow, or North Shore. Or you could let me know and I'll get Kevin the information.
Perfect.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Great, great. All right, so we've got 3 vacancies, Jewish Community Services, Blackstone and Council Towers North. Upcoming food distributions,
December, hold on, let me stop sharing my
15th.
screen. It will be December 15th as well. In Mid Beach, 4000 Chase Avenue. Going forward, it's going to be the 3rd Thursday of the month. And that's guaranteed. 4000 Chase Avenue, 41st Street and Chase, basically.
and the upcoming city commission meeting, Wednesday,
Ye-
December 14th.
That's in a week and a half time. Yeah.
Okay, 5 o'clock.
5
And there'll be-
o'clock is proclamation and presentations.
Okay,
Yeah, but it starts at
Fantastic.
8:30.
8:30 in the morning. Oh, God, those,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, our people work very hard. And that's about it. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful December. It's going to be a fun month. We've got all kinds of festivities all over Miami Beach. We're living in an amazing, amazing city.
That's
And
true.
that's it. I need a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Motion by Magui, second
Aye.
by Carolina. Okay,
yes.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous approval.
10:36 a.m.
10:36 a.m. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.